I have decided to make a short video about the use of Intelliscript in the studio version of DaVinci Resolve using a camera and an external recording device. You don't even need to use a script to use Intelliscript. You can make the script from the recording that you have using the AI tools in the studio version of Resolve. It'll transcribe your clip, and then you can use that edit to make your timeline out of that clip. Now, it's important to use the proper audio since you're automatically cutting your clip. And if you don't have that audio associated with the clip in the first place, you can run into a lot of trouble later on. So let's nip that in the bud and change the audio first. Here's how. See what we're doing today. Now, previously we've used audio auto sync with timelines. This is how you do it with raw files and why you would want to do it with raw files. So here we have the raw file that I shot outside. And here we have the audio that was recorded the same way I'm recording it now. And we need to sync these two files. So I'm going to grab the two of them and go to audio sync audio via waveform, leave these as they are, and hit sync. Now that those two are synced, we need to make sure this file, the video file, has, instead of the camera audio, which sounds terrible, it has instead the DJI Mic audio, which sounds much better, being much closer to my mouth. So we go to clip attributes of the video file now, and inside audio, you can see that you can choose whether this is a stereo with the embedded channels, which means the original camera audio, or a mono file with the linked channel 1. That is the audio that we just synced using the automatic tool. So now that video file is associated with the external audio file. And whenever I edit that video, it's going to have the good audio. Pretty handy. Now, as for Intelliscript, this is an AI feature that is only available in the studio version of Resolve. And what it does is it edits a clip based on a script. Now, I didn't shoot this with a script. I just was ad-libbing it, and I did that on purpose. So let's go ahead and go into on the clip now, not the timeline. Go into the clip, and we click transcribe. And it will transcribe the entire thing. And you can see here it's got everything I said, including stuff like being lazy that I knew I was going to cut out. So let's go ahead and export that transcription, and I'm going to name it full. Since I know that is the full script, I can go ahead and close this. Let's go ahead and open that text file. And now we can edit this text file freely. Now we don't need to keep these time code stamps in there. I tend to. But let's see here. I've decided to make a short video about using Intelliscript. I will cut out this. Oh no, I want the external recording device. Relatively simple to use. Intelliscript, if you're lazy, it will cut that whole thing out. Relatively easy to use. Intelliscript will cut that out. And you don't even need to use a script. We'll cut that out to make this a little shorter. Transcribe your clip. You can edit that transcription and use that. And there we go. And use that to make your. That's good enough. We'll go ahead and cut the rest of this just because time. We're going to save this as edited.txt. I tend to use text files. My understanding is that it works with docx files as well, but text works well for me. Now we go back to Resolve, and let's select again the video clip that we have the audio associated with. We'll go down to AI Tools, Create Timeline using Intelliscript. We'll select the edited text of the script now, and boom, it makes an edit for you. Now, that sounds all fancy and wonderful, but it's hardly ever right. Hardly ever right. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit louder so we can hear it and look at the transitions, because that's where the mistakes are. I have decided to make, yeah, so it completely ignored the fact that there's a bunch of FLAC at the beginning. So we'll go ahead and cut that out and go to the next transition. Intelliscript. If you're a lazy, you don't even need to use a script. So you can see that it didn't cut. If you're lazy, I'm just get rid of this. These are extra takes that I know I'm not going to use. I'll take those out for now. Use Intelliscript. If you're a now I know I'm not going to want if you're lazy, so let's go ahead and put it in trim mode. And then what that does is when I grab, it's going to move the whole thing. And then that means I don't have to do a whole lot of cutting and deleting. I'm just Whipple editing as we go. So use Intelliscript. You don't even need to use a script to use Intelliscript. So it'll transcribe your. See, that is not a clean cut at all. It's close, but it's not right. To use. You don't even need to use a script. All right, we'll cut it there. Don't even need to use a script. Now it's next. It'll transcribe. Okay, it'll transcribe. That's fine. We'll go ahead and it'll transcribe. It'll transcribe your clip. Yeah. We'll give a little bit more space there. Again, using our trim mode and just moving these cuts around one way or the other. You got to be careful when you're doing that, by the way. I'm making sure that I'm on one side of the cut or the other, because if you grab the cut itself, it'll just move that cut and leave the other clip on the front and back end in the same place. Clip? Yeah, that's about right. And then you can use that edit. There we go. And then you can use that edit. There you go. It'll transcribe your clip, and then you can use that edit to make your timeline out of that clip. Little too clipped, haha, aha, aha. So we'll go ahead and give that some room. And that's that. We've associated the external audio with the video track so that we can make cuts like this automatically and still have the right audio associated with it. We've used the AI transcription, which we've used before, to make a script and then edit it to be the script that we actually want versus the script we actually delivered, which wasn't scripted. Then used that edited script to automatically cut a very rough cut of the final video. And then made the necessary adjustments because it is not flawless, not yet. I hope that is helpful and you can use that in your workflow at some point. Thanks for coming along. Catch you next time.